Hi, welcome to another edition of Wired for Wealth, guiding you to achieve lasting financial freedom and peace of mind. I'm your host, John MacGregor. I want to be your antidote for your financial struggles. My goal for you is to help you think better so you can do better, so you can feel better about your financial situation. This is a really, really important episode, folks, and it's a little different than what I've done in the past. Today, I'm going to demonstrate where you may be in this spectrum of overcoming your obstacles and your challenges so you can indeed achieve that financial life you desire and frankly, you deserve, because no one deserves to live with financial stress and anxiety. But before we do that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring that bell below, because you don't want to miss another episode. In fact, I will say this show is growing, and I'm now bringing in some world-class experts. It's just not me talking anymore, right? In a variety of fields, and they're offering some real insight in how you can change your life in a variety of areas, and you don't want to miss these interviews. All right, you ready? Let's dig into it. Well, I got to say, the past several months, there's been, I guess I would say, an upswell of individuals reaching out to me and really expressing their frustration and their fear and their pain and all those other emotional feelings attached to financial struggles, right? Perhaps you're feeling the same way. I mean, these are unprecedented times, folks. We've seen inflation skyrocket way beyond the 8% inflation rate that the media reports. I mean, that's a joke. I mean, everything you buy today is 20, it's 30, it's 40, it's even 50% higher than it was 12 months ago. I mean, just think about gas. Gas is 100% higher than it was 12 months ago, and it's only going up, in my opinion. At least that's my forecast. I believe we are headed to a full-blown recession, folks, because the policies, these insane policies that are being implemented are only making things worse. The more our government prints money out of thin air, it's like throwing kerosene on what's already a burning forest fire. It doesn't work. It makes things worse. We see volatile stock and bond markets. We've got this Russian-Ukrainian situation, and we have no idea what that can escalate into. Let's just hope that nothing gets worse over there. Very scary times. Interest rates are rising very quickly. The Federal Reserve has already said that they're going to continue to raise rates aggressively. That means the interest rates that you're being charged on credit cards and other floating loans on other loans are just going up. That means mortgage rates are going to continue up as well. I mean, today, a 30-year mortgage just hit 5%, almost double from what it was 12 months ago, making home purchases even more challenging. And that will likely slow down the housing market, and that'll have a trickle effect down in the entire economy. So you see this cascading effect throughout the entire economy as inflation and interest rates go up, and I believe we're headed straight into the center of a tornado. That being a recession tornado. So with all that being said, this is not the time to bury your head in the sand. This is the time to get serious, identify a proven process, and take action. Does that make sense? Get serious, identify a proven process that works, and take action. So, as you know, if you've watched my videos, I've been in the financial industry helping thousands of people for the past 27 years. Thousands of people of all walks of life, rich, poor, young, old, male, female, and all in between. And in the past 10 or so years ago, maybe 12 now, I was thinking about that earlier, I created a revolutionary process because I realized that the traditional methods of financial planning that I was taught to deliver simply does not work, and they will not work in this environment. So I sought out to find a solution, a real solution that actually works, that causes long-term financial freedom and independence that's lasting. And this is the process. It's a scientifically designed process that I personally guide people through. It's really, as some people describe, it's really a journey of self-discovery. And it's really the missing piece that all financial programs miss. I think that's why it's been so popular and well received. It's a process that's really been changing lives. And you can get all the information on my website to learn more about it. But in the 12 years or so of teaching this process around the world, speaking on stages all over the world, we've captured quite a bit of data on individuals, which has been really, really helpful for us in not only helping us improve and fine tune this process that we created, but it's also helped us have a clear and concise sense of where people are in their life. These are new students that come to us and we do an assessment. So I want to share with some data. I want to share some data with you that I haven't shared before. Really kind of, like I said earlier, showing where people are in the spectrum of their financial health. Because it's so, so important. If you don't know where you are, you'll never get where you want to be, right? And believe me, let me just say this, you can do it. I'm telling you, I've seen it over and over and over again. The only thing holding you back right now from not taking action are the lies you keep telling yourself. That's really it. It's, I hear it. It's too hard, John. It's complicated. I'm not smart enough. I never grew up around money. I don't understand it. I never learned this in school. Or, I know, John, but I'll start next week. No, none of that is true. And that's not what you're going to do. Trust me. I've seen the worst situations you could possibly imagine turn around. Amazing and remarkable stories. You have what it takes right now. In fact, on a side note, I heard a quote from a student of mine named Blair, and I thought it was just brilliant. I never thought of it this way, but he said basically, John basically helps you end your financial psychosis so you can get your life back. I thought that was just perfect in a very funny way. That's kind of exactly what this process was designed to do. All right. So if you're familiar with the big shift concept, that's what I'm going to share with you right now, making you aware of where you are now. Because as I said, if you're not aware of where you are, you'll never get to where you want to be. And this big shift quadrant, or people call it the big growth quadrant, has really opened up a lot of people's eyes to where they are now. And based on all the data that we've collected from brand new students over the years before they started the process, this is what we found. So I'm going to share with you my screen here, if I know how to do that. This is the big shift quadrant. And this explains where all our students are when they join the program. As you can see, the spectrums on the bottom is priority, and on the left is urgency. And it's broken up into 4 boxes. And we've got high urgency, low priority, and high priority. You with me? So when students join us, what we've found is that in this bottom, let me get this going here. In this bottom right-hand quadrant, where it's high priority and low urgency, typically what we see are people that they're neglecting their situation. Their approach to this is in fits and starts. They start, but they never finish, right? And then they start again, but they never finish. They're delaying, they're procrastinating. They're basically frozen. They're stuck in their situations. Does that sound familiar? So that's about 45% of our new students. The other 38% is in this upper left quadrant. That's where it's high urgency and low priority. High urgency and low priority. And in this case, we have people that are confused, they're nervous, they're in a state of panic, they're agitated. And this is where we find most people are stressed. Now, people are stressed in all these quadrants, but it's the people in this quadrant that are most stressed of all of them. It's a situation it's high urgency, but then it's not a priority. So that causes a lot of stress. And we all know what stress does to our lives. This third quadrant is lower left, right? This is low urgency and low priority. And this is about 12% of our students who join us. And this is people who are just basically indifferent, right? They're indecisive. They're living life status quo. Frankly, they're irresponsible with their money, and they're basically just treading water through life. And again, that's about 12% of our students. The purpose of our process, the purpose of the Thrive Path process is to get our students, this is the way it was designed, scientifically and neurologically designed, is to get you into that top right quadrant where it's high urgency and high priority. And this is the goal. This is what we've been helping people achieve in their lives. This is where they're living with vision. They understand what their true vision is in life, and they are focused on achieving their true vision. They've drilled deep into what their vision is, and they have a game plan to get there. They're living with purpose. They deeply understand their meaning, and they're living with purpose. They understand what the role of themselves are in this world. As a result of this, they become automatically committed to the process. It's almost like they emerge and it becomes a byproduct. Their commitment to continue doing what they're doing becomes a byproduct, and it just makes life easier. Their life becomes, it's almost like they're in the zone of life, right? The other thing is they're focused. And then lastly, they're just living with passion. And that was what this was designed to do. And that's what we've been delivering for the last over 10 years now. So as I wrap up here, the question I want to ask you is, where do you find yourself in these quadrants? Think about it for a moment. Where are you finding yourself? Now, you may find yourself in a variety of these quadrants, right? You may find some of the stress, but then some there's a neglect. But try to figure out where do you find yourself mostly or primarily, I should say. And I think this is really important for you to realize, especially in these times, right? As we talked about, with everything going on, the inflation and the economy and the stock market, and the Ukraine and all these situations. Because the more you can ascertain where you are, the better off you're going to be. So I'm just going to end with this. There are, and that's where we want you to, that's our focus right there. So there are two things that I've studied and looked at successful individuals and the reason they've become successful. The first thing was, they adopted a process, a proven process that works. Look, and I use this example a lot. If you were to bake a cake, right, and you had no idea how to bake a cake, and you just went to the store and you just winged it, right? You just try to guess what the ingredients were, right? But you have no idea. You say, I'll get this, I'll get some of this. Then you got home and you try to put it together. You had no idea how much of each of those ingredients was needed, right? And you just kind of threw stuff together, and then you threw it in the oven, not knowing at what temperature and how long to cook it. What do you think the chances are of that turning into anything that's even edible? What do you think your success chances are? Probably zero, right? I can tell you myself, it would be zero. It would be an awful, awful cake. So the successful people that we've studied, and if you look at any successful people or any success you had a process, a proven process that worked, and you just followed it. A recipe, right? A formula. And in this case, I use the word process. So that's the first thing you need to do, is adopt a process, a proven process that works. The second thing you need to do, where most people fall short, is to take action. Move forward, take that first step, because a process without action is just that. It's just a process, and that will get you nowhere. So I want you to commit today that you are going to identify a process that works and you're going to take action. And it could be a very, very small step to move forward. You can do it. You have what it takes. You have the intellect of what it takes to be financially free, independent, and to live life on your own terms. So with that, I want to wrap on 3 questions that I want you to ponder. These are extremely, extremely important questions to ask yourself. The first one is, what is holding you back from taking that massive action that I talked about? What is holding you back from taking massive action today? Not next week, but today. What is holding you back? And I want you to take a moment and I want you to think 5 years from now. 5 years from now, it's 2022, 2022, think of 2027. What would happen? What would your life look like if you didn't take action? What's your life going to look like? If you stayed in one of those quadrants, the status quo, the neglect, the procrastination, the indifference, right? What's your life going to look like 5 years from now if you didn't take action? Really, really important question to be asking. And then on top of that, what are the consequences of not taking action? What are going to be the short-term and the long-term consequences of not taking action? Because again, the 2 things you need to do, embrace a proven process that works and take action. It's really, really that simple. So leave it there. I hope this was helpful. I really hope it opened your eyes to where you are in the spectrum, because this could be the beginning of massive change in your life. Again, like I said, you can do it. I've got a ton of free stuff on my website that you can download immediately for free to start your journey to financial freedom and peace of mind. Eliminate that stress, that anxiety, and get your life back, because that's what we all want. I know that's what you want, because I hear it from you constantly. Don't forget, again, hit the bell, subscribe, and leave a comment. If there's stuff that you want to hear from, let me know. It helps me build content that I know people want. Until next time, we'll see you again. Take care. Upward and onward. Bye-bye.